Good afternoon, good evening. Justin O'Keefe from Teleforce Recruitment, continuing our mission to get parents back into the workforce to relaunch, to pivot and redesign careers that works. So yesterday we did a short video on the why of going back to work. We listed some common reasons that we would see, and the purpose of this is really to give you a solid foundation for the journey you're going to go through. And again, everyone's at a different point, coming out from a different position. So after thinking that through, in my email box today comes an article from a guy called Seth Godin, who talks about the 3 good things that he sees coming up in the new job economy. And these are good. These are good for professionals like us looking to get back into the workforce or to reposition or find a new niche. So the first one that Seth talks about, and I'll discuss these in the context of the types of candidates and roles that we fill, is he says the reason that Uber drivers will always struggle is that they don't own the relationship with the customer. They're just doing the job. And this is something we would often see with parents going back to work, is somebody going back into a role where they need a little bit of flexibility, a little bit of give and take, some reciprocity. They really need to own the relationship, to own the role. They cannot be easily replaced. Okay, and it's difficult, it's slow to gain the trust and attention of companies. So the asset is you, the asset is building trust, and in return, we find that companies are willing in return to provide a degree of flexibility. Okay, second one that he says, the world is here knocking at your door, and the idea of that, he says, is that proximity essentially is overrated. There are people doing jobs in Ireland for companies in America for projects in the Gulf. So the world that we grew up in, where you do work in your area or in your country, those barriers have fallen away, very much technology enabled. It means there's a lot more opportunity, a lot more competition perhaps, but there are opportunities that you don't even know exist yet. So the world is your oyster, as my dad would say. Third one is a really interesting one. He says, if your boss can write it down, then he or she can find someone cheaper than you to do the job. Okay, so if it's heavily scripted, if there's an SOP, if you're following a script, then really you're just delivering the script, the knowledge, the information in the script. And he talks about that the best jobs, and we would subscribe to this, the best jobs are those that don't wait for instructions, where good judgment, professionalism, the ability to build connections and take initiative are much more important than obedience. That is what we see as value-added jobs. And that the economy today, the value in people, is very much about building connections, building rapport, rather than just industry. Okay? And many of the rules that we grew up with are simply obsolete. So what he talks about is excuse me, the old-fashioned, well-paid jobs where you came in and punched a button, or wrote a report, or followed procedure without having to build connection and build innovation. That those jobs aren't coming back in many cases. And as the years go on, I'm in my early 40s, I'm going to have 30 years working ahead of me. If they're disappearing now, and they have been disappearing for a number of years, they really may not exist in 20 or 30 years' time. So the question he raises in his, these new jobs in this economy is, we now have a choice. Do we want to make ourselves indispensable, to be a linchpin, or a cog? Do we want to restrict our boundaries to what we know around us, or are we willing to look further and take more risk? And are we looking to build connection and add value and take initiative, or simply be a cog in the wheel? And though there's a range of choices within that, not every role fits that. But if you do choose to take the initiative and jump at the opportunity, then there are some extraordinary jobs out there with some extraordinary companies. So, hope this has been of help. Look forward to talking to you soon. Take care.